The following video has been approved by the JD marketing team. The video has been rated JD. The following video may not be suitable for all viewers. G'day mate and welcome back to Dyson Sphere with me, JD. And today, as you can probably tell by the title of the video, I found a mod, which means today's regular video has been pushed back a day because this was important. Now, first off, let's say a couple of things, okay? Dyson Sphere has been out for less than 2 weeks. Now, the devs have said they're going to officially support mods, which is great. Always love good modding support in a game, but it brings me more confidence when I find out that mods have already started being produced for Dyson Sphere, even though modding support doesn't actually exist yet. And that's what I want to talk about today, because like I said, the devs have been hard at work. They've been doing patches just about every day of the week, including actually on weekends, I believe. And they have said within the next 2 weeks, we're going to be seeing an upgrade system, so we can upgrade hopefully most of, but at least some of the belts and assemblers and those sorts of things. Along with, we're going to be able to actually change the key bindings, which will be lovely, because there are definitely some key bindings I want to change, like the copy and paste recipe. And they're going to hopefully fix the logistics system, so you don't end up with ships flying interstellar without warp cores, because that's happened to just about every one of us. Anyway, with all that out of the way, today I want to talk about mods, okay? Because this is the first mod I've found. This is the first mod that I know has been released, and it's handy because, like, I'm in the late game. As you can see, we're 70 hours in the save. This is the save I've been playing over on Twitch. You're welcome to come and follow me over on Twitch and see where we're up to, see what we're doing. We're actually on a whole new planet, on a whole new solar system, trying to currently build Cybertron by concreting the whole world, one tile at a time. Well, putting down platforms. Yeah, these things, foundations over a whole world, because I want to turn it to Cybertron and build a proper mega factory. But that's all besides the point. Today, I want to talk about this particular mod, and it has two features in it. We're going to cover both of them, and the biggest reason I'm installing this in my game no matter what is, as I said, I'm in the late game, and it means there are a lot of things I'm deconstructing and removing, because I've got the new rare recipes, so I need to change over whole builds from the standard recipe to a rare recipe, or I need to rip up old parts of the factory which have been superseded and, you know, are no longer needed. So I've been using the dismantle facility or demolition mode. All depends on which bit of, you know, tooltip you want to look at, and I am clicking on things constantly. At least belts you can sort of click, hold, and drag, providing you can get the mouse to line up, but you know, individual buildings, it's a click on every one of them, and it's taking forever. It's a little bit frustrating. So there's now a mass disassembly, I think the mod's called, and it requires you to use some foundations. Now, you don't physically need to have foundations on you. As you can see, my inventory is empty apart from the stuff I just picked up. And to mass dismantle something, you pick up a foundation, you use the plus and the minus on the keypad to set it larger or smaller, and you hover over what you want, and you press the spacebar. And not only does Icarus do a jump of joy, it removes the item. Now, if you press spacebar again, it removes another item. If you hold spacebar, and this is the big thing, you can just drag. Now, obviously, it's a 1x1 tile, which means I can get up reasonably close to things. It does have a sphere of influence, which is like one tile above and beyond what you're looking at. But if I max this thing out and then do another jump of joy, we can clean up. It does have a couple of limitations. One of them is it has that sphere of influence, like I said, which means it doesn't quite reach off to infinity and beyond. It only reaches to a certain height, which does mean that you can have some floating structures, some floating storage. The other limitation is more of what I call a game limitation. That is, if your inventory fills up, not only do you get a bit of lag, you get these error messages, because my inventory is full, and part of the base game is if your inventory is full and you keep deconstructing things, you get that annoying error message, and the items you're deconstructing disappear into the ether, which I honestly don't mind, depending on what it is that I'm deconstructing. And yeah, the sound in the game has a little bit of a blurp because it's not really designed to deal with that many things being deconstructed all at the same time and not having anywhere for it to go. But I have to say, this is a life changer. More importantly, you can install it in your game, in your whatever game you're currently playing, whatever game that you've spent the most amount of hours on. You can install it straight away, and it just works. It just works. It becomes part of your game. You don't need foundations even built. You probably have to have them researched, because I think you have to. Yeah, actually, you do have to research foundations somewhere through the technology. That one. So I'm assuming you're going to have to research foundations at least, to at least have, you know, this interface to be able to use it. But I'd still call that a win. Like, this is such a game changer. For just such a small little mod, it's really, really massive. Now, there is a second half to this mod, which we're going to cover. It is going to require us to start a new game, but it's something I really wish I'd known about beforehand, because I have gone and hit up every rare resource in our universe, and I was unlucky and only got one black hole and one neutron star. And there are unipolar magnets, is that right? I can't remember what they go into. Those ones, unipolar magnets, yes. They only exist around black holes and neutron stars, which means I have a rare resource that's really handy to have, and I have a limited amount of. But the other half of this mod will definitely help with that. So we're going to put in an account, we're going to start a new game, and I'll show you that one. So once back at the main menu, we're going to go new game, and as you can see, you know, new game, you've seen this interface before, and originally, like, you had this number of stars slider. It was slid all the way up to 64, because that was the most the game supported. And for an early access game, I couldn't honestly argue. But as I said, after exploring a good portion of my universe and everything else, only having one neutron star and one black hole sort of sucked. And if I hit random enough times, occasionally I can get 2 or 3 for each one of them. But it's going to take a while, and it's going to require a bit of luck, and maybe, you know, with enough time and effort, I can get a seed and then write down the seed and share the seeds with other people and all that sort of stuff. But, you know, it's a little bit of a hassle. The other thing the mod adds is this. And the mod officially supports up to 250, that'll do, 255 stars. Which, as you can see, is a significant amount of more stars that you could go off and explore, like a significant amount. But being a mod and like using your own risk. The other thing is O-type stars. O-type stars are super bright ones. Can I? What's an O-type? Blue giant. B-type, O-type. These ones are super bright. They normally have a luminosity of like over 2, which means they're really good for putting Dyson spheres around. But yeah, like I said, having 255 is fine, but the mod developer officially doesn't support because the game doesn't really support. But being a modder, it's entirely at your own risk, because you can scale this to, wow, that's a lot of stars, and that's a lot of black holes. 11 of them, 24 of them, random, 27, wow. That looks reasonably spread out. Can we get a really spread out random seed, please? Sure, let's try that. That looks very far away. Okay, so with all that said, start the game up and skip the prologue, please. Thank you. And probably should have turned off the visor. Yeah, shut up. Okay, out to map view, all the way out to map view. Rotate to north, and we can see that our star system is a lot more populated with 113 light years. I have no idea how long it would take you. 115 light years. I have no idea how long it would take you to
now try to
go away. To travel out to 115 light years at warp speed, and I don't even think you'd make it there in one shot, even with antimatter fuel, which is what I'm currently running because we're in antimatter fuel rods. Antimatter fuel rods, because I'm in super late game, so power is no longer an issue. But that's a long way. Icarus is a long way away. Icarus and home planet becomes very tiny at 100 and something light years. Hang on, zoom out further. Can't even click on this one directly. Icarus is a long way away. Anyway, with all that said, I guess now we show you how to install the mods, because let's be honest, just for the Mass Deconstruct in your own game, you're probably sold. You're probably going to install this. So let's put in the cart. Let's go look at Windows and let's do a mod install. Okay, so here we are with the GitHub reference. As always, link is down in the description, so you can click on that to get to this page. But first off, you've got to install Bepenix. So we're going to click that one and then download for your relevant version of Windows. So we go across to their GitHub page and then download the 64 version or the 86 version. The Windows version, because, so we want to grab the 64 version, and you need to put this inside your Dyson Sphere folder. So that is in your installer is obviously going to vary, but it is in your Steam Apps Common Dyson Sphere, and we'll just dump that in there. And yes, we just need to download this file. So we're going to save that. Yes, I wish to replace it. And then if we come to here, we need to extract the files right here. Okay. Yes to all. I'm using WinRAR. Obviously, you might have WinZip, but you should end up with a Bepenix, and then the changelog and the other files just dumped into this folder. And then the first time you open the game, so you need to reopen Dyson Sphere, it's going to make a plugins folder. Now, in my case, Dyson Sphere actually opened and then crashed, but I'm expecting that's actual normal behavior. It doesn't really matter as long as once it opens up, it makes this plugins folder. Then we need to go back to where we were, go back to the original GitHub page, and then go to here, download this DLL file, and it's going to go into there and into the plugins folder and save, and you're done. That's it. It's installed. Right click, open Dyson Sphere, and you're up and running. You can then have 255 stars, 1,024 stars. More importantly, in your current base, you can have some mass delete. And I think mass delete is really the big game changer for a lot of us. A lot of us have played through some part of the game, mid-game, early game, late game. All depends probably how many times you restarted and how many times you accidentally put into the game in the last week. I hope that didn't show up on my Steam profile. But yeah, this should give you this slider. And 255 seems like a semi-reasonable number. Now, obviously, the higher you slide this, the more lag you're going to have. But the fact that I got 3 black holes and 3 neutron stars makes me feel a little bit more comfortable about my start. And we'll just hit random a few times. That looks good. Start. And skip the prologue again. And tell you to shut up. And yeah, that looks like a much more interesting cluster. That's the in-game name. Yeah. Also,
now
go away. I didn't look, but O-type stars are super bright. In my particular save, I only have one of them, and O-type stars. O-type stars have a luminosity normally over 2. So they are super bright, really good for building Dyson spheres around, really good for mass generating power. That's again a 2. So yeah, having a couple more options. As I said, I've only got one in my system, and it's like a 2 point something, 2.2, just over 2. So yeah, having a couple more options for where you might want to set up your mass power creation for your endgame projects are always handy. Anyway, with all that said, I think this is where we're going to leave this video. As always, if you like more content like this, especially if you like looking at more mods coming up in the future, by all means, click the subscribe button down below. Oh, click the like button at the same time. If you want to find out about more mods like this, by all means, click the subscribe button down below. At the same time, you may notice on your screen there is a couple of playlists on your. They are for other Dyson Sphere tutorials. Today's tutorial was going to be about science packs, but it looks like that's going to be delayed a day because I had to show you guys this. This is awesome. Anyway, with all that said, I'm definitely out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.